Welcome to the Divorce the IRS Podcast, the retirement income planning podcast designed specifically for those who want to pay the least amount of taxes possible and build a retirement income that lasts. Inspired by the best-selling book, Divorce the IRS, you get to go behind the scenes with financial planner, author, and speaker Jimmy Miller. Learn how to set yourself up to pay the least amount of taxes in retirement when you'll need your money the most. And now, here's your host, Jimmy Miller.
Welcome to episode 11 of the Divorce the IRS Podcast. Today, we're going to discuss the next tax time bomb, early withdrawal penalties. If you're like most people, it's likely that life will throw you a monkey wrench sometime before you reach retirement. It's probably already happened, many times over maybe. Life is constantly throwing us curveballs. When this happens, people often need money to rectify a situation, whether it be a divorce, a costly repair to a vehicle or home, or something else. Unfortunately, one place people turn to fund these expenses is their retirement savings, the money they put into tax-deferred plans like an IRA or their 401k at work. When you deposited money into these plans, you realized a tax deduction, or as you learned earlier, you borrowed a little money from the IRS. And now that life has happened, and you need that money before the age of 59 and a half years, the IRS will collect on that loan, and then some. Let's take a look at an example and consider Mike, who is single, 35 years old, and who makes around $110,000 a year of taxable income. This means he's in the 24% federal tax bracket. And while every state differs, let's estimate a 6% state tax rate for this example as well. Unfortunately, Mike had a big life event and needs $30,000. He is considering taking this money from his 401k at work. Assuming he wants to take all the funds and expenses from his 401k to actually net $30,000 in his pocket, he would have to withdraw $50,000. Why so much? Well, let's break it down. It would be a $50,000 total withdrawal, minus $12,000 in federal taxes due, minus $5,000 in early withdrawal penalty at 10%, minus $3,000 in state taxes due, and that would net Mike the $30,000 he needs. This is the first tax time bomb explosion that many Americans face in life, when they have no choice but to take the money out of their tax-deferred retirement plan before reaching retirement age. And upon doing this, they owe back the tax deduction or the loan they once received on their contributions. Often, they owe even more if the withdrawal pushes them into a higher tax bracket. And to add insult to injury, they have to pay an additional 10% penalty on the money they withdrew. Now, you're not alone if you've had to use your retirement savings for an immediate financial need. Data shows that more people are tapping into their 401ks and IRAs to handle financial emergencies. For instance, the Vanguard Group reported that withdrawals from retirement accounts early reached an all-time high of 3.6% in 2024, up from 2.8% the previous year, and that's based on about 5 million accounts they manage. Now, it's one thing if a big life event happens unexpectedly and you have absolutely no other place to withdraw money from. It amazes me how often, though, I see people take money out this way for non-emergency purposes, like to pay for a wedding or to purchase a new car or a boat. It's like watching someone stare at a grenade in their hand after they just pulled the pin. As Dave Ramsey would say, it's financially stupid. To make matters worse, you also have to consider the future value of the money that was withdrawn. Had Mike left that $50,000 in his retirement account and realized an average 8% return until he was 60 years old, he would have had a little over $342,000. That's quite a bit to give up for $30,000 in his pocket today. This is an explosion that doesn't just hurt immediately when he pays the tax and penalty. It continues to hurt with the regret of knowing he really took out $342,000 worth of future retirement happiness. There is a small amount of relief now available when it comes to this tax time bomb. As of 2024, the IRS will allow you to withdraw up to $1,000 once each calendar year from your IRA or 401k without penalty for a financial emergency. You'll still have to pay taxes on the withdrawal, though. You can choose to pay the money back to your account if you wish as well. But if you don't pay it back within 3 years, you may not take another $1,000 out during this 3-year time period without the 10% penalty on top of the tax that you owe. Now, one of the easiest ways to avoid this painful tax explosion is to have a proper emergency fund. Any fiduciary financial planner's first piece of advice is going to be to establish 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in a liquid savings account or non-qualified investment account, the taxable bucket, as an emergency fund. If you follow the advice in this podcast, you will have an emergency fund to fall back on. But if you need more money than what this account can provide for you, and you've put your money into Roth accounts, as this podcast also advises, you will also be able to access all the contributions you made to the Roth account without taxes or penalties. It's only the growth in a Roth account that you have to pay tax and the early 10% withdrawal penalty on if you take it out before 59.5. Or if it's a Roth conversion, you have to hold it for at least 5 years. It still hurts to withdraw that money though, as once it's been out of the account for more than 60 days, its fate is sealed and you cannot replace that money or its future tax-free value. However, you will have avoided the explosive effects of most early withdrawal penalties. Another advisor once shared with me the advice she gives clients when they ask if they can afford something, and it stuck with me over the years. She said, if you can't afford to buy it twice, you can't afford it. If you live by this motto while making all purchases in life, you won't end up withdrawing your savings early, and you'll do all right. If you haven't checked on your emergency fund in a while, now may be a good time to make sure that you have that 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses stashed away and earning interest for you somewhere accessible. In the next episode, we're going to discuss the third tax time bomb, sharing your retirement account with the IRS. And you're going to learn now about a serious wake-up call you may have when you retire, if you haven't planned for it.
Want even more ideas, tools, and resources on how to navigate your financial life? Check out all the resources on the Divorce the IRS website at divorce-the-irs.com or the Baobab Wealth website at baobabwealth.com, and subscribe to the blog to stay up to date on issues affecting retirement income planning. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Baobab Wealth and Baobab Wealth Abroad are DBAs of Baobab Wealth LLC, a Florida registered investment advisor. This podcast is designed for general education purposes only and shouldn't be taken as legal, investment, or tax advice. You should seek out a qualified tax professional or licensed financial advisor to determine what is best for your personal situation.